All right, guys, this is Kelly from Heels, Deals, and Wheels Mobile Home Investing Course, and we have a special guest today, Mrs. Tina Richardson. Tina, how
Hey
are you
everybody.
doing? All right, all right. So, guys, I asked Tina to come on here, and she was like, "Why you ask me to come on here? Because you are killing the game." So, Tina, introduce yourself to everybody.
So I am Tina Richardson. I am based out of Tampa, Florida. Um, and it's interesting when I say based out of Tampa, Florida, because if you follow me on Facebook, you see me all over the place. I travel at least an hour away from my home probably every day. If it's not for mobile homes, it's for entertainment. So I've been in the mobile home space now for about a year solid, a little over a year. I started I guess you could say, I say I started my journey when I became a mobile home sales agent, which was last year in February of 2022. So since then, it's just been, I literally I became a mobile home sales agent so I can get paid to learn about the mobile home market. And that's exactly what I've been able to do in my journey. Because I've always wanted to do real estate investment, but I didn't know anything about mobile homes. I only knew the single family market. And because I've owned my own single family home for 15 years now. And when I purchased it, my goal was to rent it out after 10 years, which was basically enough for my time for my children to grow up, move out, be on their own, and then I could start making money off my asset. But life happens. So I am still living in my three-bedroom home, but now I'm looking to buy a mobile home, flip it, and sell it on either on payments or rent it out or whatever the case may be. I still have not gotten to that point yet. However, the journey doesn't begin with buying your first property. You know what I mean? The journey begins the day you get out there and start learning the market, what I'm saying? Learning what you're trying to buy, what you're trying to do. And so last year I did 10 deals altogether. Great experience, just getting out there and learning how to talk to the sellers, learning what questions the buyers ask, learning how to network with the park managers, just the difference between, the rules and stuff when dealing with a home in a community versus a home on private land. And, learning what can you do when you run into a home that's on private land. Of course, every area is different. And when I say area, meaning like Kelly, you're in Texas,
I'm in Texas,
California
California.
area.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm in Florida. My mentor, Michael Wiley, he's in Alabama. Jasmine Gibbs, I think she's up in Carolina. So you have all these different areas, and depending on what your area is, you have to learn the rules and so on and so forth for your municipalities in your area. Because, like I said, even with me, I travel, like I said, an hour or so, if not more, every day from my house. At each municipality that you go into, there's different rules and regulations. Is that something that's even allowed in your area? Do they have agents that work up under brokers and dealers?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so Tina, are you licensed to
As
do?
of right now, no, I do not carry any licenses at all as of right now. I'm studying to get my mobile home broker's license.
Okay.
Um, but again, that's a process too. It's like everything is a process, and it's like until you get started, you're never going to accomplish anything. And so, like my whole thing was just to get started. I had been doing entertainment for like the last 7, 8 years, which was never really my plan, but it was like I said, life happens. It's something I wound up doing, and so like yeah, last year I just started my officially started my real estate investment journey, and it's in the mobile home space.
Okay.
And it's been an amazing, amazing, amazing journey. I am so in love with mobile homes, and
The feeling is mutual. I feel you.
yeah, all the opportunities available with them. There's no limit. It's like they're little toys that you can just play with for years and years and years to come. And the it's a beautiful space to be in. The people I get to meet, a lot of Florida is the retirement capital of the world. So true enough, a lot of the my buyers and clients are 55 and up, but there's also younger families that are, this is their first home. They're trying to buy their first home. Most of the homes that I deal with, I know you do deal with a lot of rentals. Most of the homes I deal with are sales. They're usually cash buyers. I have not even worked with a home yet that's been on a mortgage where they've had to get approved for a mortgage to buy the home. I haven't had one of those deals yet. All my buyers have been cash buyers.
Okay. And so
But
how does it work when you're in a 55 and you're trying to invest in a 55 and older community? Let's just say you're trying to do a wholesale deal and you're not 55, because I ran into a joint venture with a gentleman. He wasn't 55, however, I was 55. And so the park was like, hey, you need to hurry up and sell this home because you weren't of age to even invest in the park. Is that true? Or those of you don't know, Tina was actually at one point a mobile home park manager as well. So is that true, Tina?
And yes, that is very much true. I see it all the time. Matter of fact, right now I have a fixer upper listed down in Ruskin, Florida, and it's a 55 and up community. And I've had several investors reach out to me and they want to make an offer on it, but they're not 55 and up. And that particular community won't allow you to do it. Other communities, if you let them know you're an investor, they literally have an application process for an investor versus a resident that's going to be moving into the community. And so when you apply as an investor, they ask for your bank statements, they ask for your proof of your LLC, and basically just want to know how long, do you plan on taking to do the renovations, But as long as you're paying your lot rent, a lot of communities don't care about investors. I have one investor, he's fixing a home up in Winter Haven, Florida right now. He bought that home from me in October of last year. He thought the renovations, he thought he was going to be done in like 4 or 5 weeks. We going on 3-4 months. He still ain't finished the renovation yet, But he was 55 and up, no problem, and he's been paying the lot rent, and he keeps calling me, Tina, I'll have it ready in the next week. I'll have it ready in the next week. You come take pictures. I'm like, okay. But that's, it's all part of the journey. I had another investor. He bought one. It was an all age community. But he decided to put a $500 tile, not just tile, subway tile backsplash in the kitchen in a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom mobile home in an all ages community. And I'm just like,
overdoing
backsplash. Yeah, the backsplash is worth more than the house. Like,
overdoing.
So, yeah, it took that house was on the market for a long time. He took a loss on it, but he learned his lesson, you know. And unfortunately, sometimes you learn through the experience of it. But but I like, and that's no, but like I was never in a rush to hurry up and try to buy a house and flip it because I know all the things that can go wrong. And so I literally has been taking my time just to get educated on the different things that you can run into because you have to look at your holding costs, the electric and water alone, if you mess around and get a water leak. When you're first buying the house, you don't make sure you get, I always tell people, make sure you get an inspection done.
Okay. All right.
Like, don't wait till after you start the renovations.
Right. And so, Tina, in the state of Florida, well, let's just talk about the park that you were a park manager of. Did the water bill come attached to the mobile home, and then they had to run out and get their own electricity, the person that lived in the mobile home?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So that particular community, they have each home had their own water meter, and the community would bill each resident for their water usage. But they still had a flat fee that they had to pay every month for just having the water meter alone, whether they used water or not. But then, yes, the electric, they had to, get their own electric hooked up and then show proof that the electric was turned over into their name once they moved in.
And so, Tina, you're living proof that not all park managers have their license. Now, you do eventually have to get your license if you want to continue on working there, correct?
Difference. Park managers versus park owners. Mm-hmm. Park managers are no different than somebody working at McDonald's. It's just a job. It's just a
Wow.
job. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? It's just a job. You get trained for a job.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing glamorous. Like depending on the size of the community, like down here, I mean, there's communities that got thousands of homes in them. So not only do they have a park manager, they got a whole park staff of people. You know what I mean? But for the smaller mom and pop type communities, you may just have one of the residents that's getting a discount on their rent in order to be the park manager, you know? Because really, the park manager is they're the babysitter. Babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
They got to make sure everybody plays safely in the sandbox. That's it. You know, collect the rent and make sure that everybody's playing fair. But when you get into the ownership, or you may have a actual salesperson assigned to a community, and when you're dealing with, oh my God, these sales reps at these communities, honey, they are so protective of their little commission that they get. Yeah, yeah. And not all communities are licensed to be able to actually sell the homes in their communities. So they will use outside sales reps, like the dealer that I work for, to do their sales out of their community. They don't even want to deal with it, you know, because they're not in the business of buying and selling homes. They're in the business of maintaining the land,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
if that
And,
makes
and so,
sense.
Tina, what attracted you from single family homes to mobile homes? What was that attraction?
The price point. It's just an easier price point, especially here in Florida. The single family market is just absolutely ridiculous right now. In my county that I stay in Hillsborough County. And for the last, even before the pandemic, there's an average of 1,000 people a day moving here. And there's just no inventory of single family homes unless you want to pay astronomical prices. So that's what led me to start looking at the mobile home space. And I remember even when I was first looking for my home, I actually had my eye on a manufactured home. And I say manufactured home because it was a brand new 4 bedroom, 4 bath, but I couldn't find an acre of land to put it on.
Right.
So I wind up literally buying a little house I bought it from the city of Tampa. But yeah, it's just mobile home. And in the area of Florida, since I've been researching mobile homes over the last year, I've learned that there are over 4,000 communities in Central Florida, mobile home communities. When I drive, once my eyes opened to mobile homes, it was like they're everywhere. They are everywhere around me. Everywhere. I have no problem finding deals. Like I literally had to stop and take a step back from my grind and my hustle because it was getting to be too much, and my entertainment schedule was starting to pick up a lot. So I kind of took a step back just to get things organized. So literally, probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks is when you guys will really see me with a whole bunch of inventory on my page again, because the inventory is out there and people need help. They don't know how to sell their mobile homes. They don't. They don't know. They don't even know where to begin, you know? And a lot of real estate agents don't know how to sell mobile homes.
Mm-hmm.
So real estate agents are becoming some of my top referral sources.
Hmm. Okay. And so, Tina, the prices of mobile homes are going up. Do you foresee it's ever going to go down to normal, to where, I mean, I don't know about in Florida, but there was a point here in Texas, we were able to get free mobile homes. Now, you might not be able to get a free mobile home in California, but, do you ever foresee the prices going down?
No, the prices are never going to go down, but the prices will continue to go along with the economy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And there's always going to be those free deals out there, but how often do those free deals come along? Not very often. But if you find a distressed seller, if the situation is right, they will give it away for free because they're a distressed seller. They need to get rid of the home. I just had a guy a couple weeks ago. Now, granted, we didn't wind up giving the home away for free, but he's in such a tight situation. When I first listed a house, I listed it at 35,000. He called me within 2 days and was like, Tina, drop the price to 25,000. I don't care. I just need to get rid of it. I'm like, okay. So I dropped to 25,000. He called me with another 2 days. You know what? Make a post. If anybody wants to come get this house, they can have it. And I was like, huh? So I called him. Okay, what's going on? Like, why are all of a sudden how we went from 35 to 25 to now you're like, just come get it, I'm done. But it was just some issues that he was having again with the community office, the manager. And we're not even the manager, but the sales reps at the office. So it's just, it all depends on people's situations. Life happens to everybody every day. You know, there's people have to move, jobs change, they go through divorces, the parents are getting sick and they have to relocate. There's all various different types of situations that cause people to become very, very motivated sellers. And so at the end of the day, your goal is just to find those motivated sellers and offer your services to them. You know?
So Tina, what would you say your favorite strategy would be, even though you haven't done all the strategies? What would you think your favorite strategy would be? Because you were talking about seller finance and then you turned around and said a little something about renting. What would your favorite strategy be, you think?
So for me, here's my goal. These are my goals. So with community homes, and of course, each deal that you come by, you have to analyze that particular deal to see what the best strategy is for that deal, right? So in my mind, if I come across a home that's in a community, that I may be able to get it for less than $5,000, and I can put $5,000 to $10,000 worth of renovations in it, and then be able to resell it, I would resell that on payments. Because my goal for me is to create residual income, right? However, knowing that if the reason I say in a community selling it on payments is because in my area, most communities don't allow you to rent. So I'm not even going to go into that deal, analyzing that deal with the mindset of having a rental exit strategy. But on the other hand, this deal that I was telling you about when I first called in, I just came across there's 5 mobile homes spread across 6 different lots on private land. 3 of those homes are already rented out and they're on private land. There are no rents at all for these homes. So using my mobile home experience and applying it towards a single family type of mentality, which is where it's on private land, I can rent this out. I can Airbnb it. I can do whatever I want because it's on private land. There's no HOA. It's not in a subdivision. If there's, you know what I'm saying? So it's like each deal that you come across, each opportunity that presents itself, you have to analyze that particular opportunity for whatever exit strategy is going to be best for that opportunity. It's not going to be cookie cutter across the board. So that's kind of the way my mentality towards it. Just depends on what the deal is.
Okay.
Where at the same time, if I come like this one that I have, it's they want 23,000 for it. It's a fixer upper. I'm not going to pay 22,000 for a fixer upper, but there's other investors out there that will. So that I can just wholesale that deal, or either like I did, which was listed on the MLS. And so that's another strategy that I don't know if a lot of people are aware of, but as being signed up with my dealer as a mobile home sales agent gives me access to be able to list homes on the MLS. And now that home is going across 100 different websites all across the world. If I post it on Facebook, which is my main source of finding deals as well as marketing my deals, it's getting a lot of views, but at the same time, it's like it's limited to my reach. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I hope that answered it.
Yeah. So even though you haven't seller financed at all thus far?
I have not done any deals as far as creating residual income from real estate yet, if that makes sense. Okay. Everything I've done has been like wholesale deals or just selling a house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tina, you think if you do sell a finance, are you going to use a mortgage loan originator to create that note, or are you going to create the note yourself?
No, so I already have come across a company called calltheunderwriter.com. And calltheunderwriter.com, they will do the credit check for you, they'll do the background check, they'll do all the screening. They basically underwrite the deal for you. They check the people's employment history, verify their income, they do all that part, and they will write up the note for you. So they have all those services available. I actually reached out to them back in October because I had a pending deal to sell or finance my own personal residence, but it didn't go through because thank God I went through them, and they checked the people's credit and they checked their income, and they're like, Tina, this is not, don't do this deal. Their numbers are not adding up, and it really didn't. I mean, I walked them through my house and everything. I eventually sat down with the lady. I'm like, okay, I just need you to show me that you're making enough money to cover this mortgage, and I'm not seeing it. I'm sorry, I'm just not seeing it. So, but yeah, so that's who I plan to use.
Yeah, I actually came across that website, and if I'm not mistaken, they actually list the home too.
They do a lot of different services.
Yeah,
they offer a lot. It's like a stacked type of service of, depending on how much you want them to do. Yeah, they're really cool. I enjoy working with them.
And so, Tina, what has been your, the least amount of money you've made on a deal, and what has been the biggest amount you've made on the deal, if you don't mind me asking?
The least amount was 500, and the most was 5,000. I haven't ran across a deal where I'm trying to get this huge lump sum of money just because it's there to be gotten, if that makes sense. Like this last deal that I did, where I'm talking about the guy who dropped the price from 35 to 25 and is like, just come pick it up. I really could have took advantage of them if I was that type of person. But I'm not a money hungry, greedy, I'm not trying to get rich off of one deal. I'm trying to do as many deals as I can to build my reputation as a good wholesaler and a good real estate person. So yeah, it just depends. I have heard of people who, like, let's say you meet with a seller and they just need to get their motivated seller, so you're able to negotiate with them to get their house for like five. All they want is 5,000. That's all they want, and then you could do the contract, the assignment contract, and find a seller and sell their house for $30,000 because it's a nice house. That was this last situation. I could have very easily marketed that house at 55,000 and got it sold like that. But I didn't. It was fully furnished, 2 bedroom, 2 bath, washer, dryer, all appliances. I mean, amazing, amazing, beautiful home. Nothing wrong with it. They just had to move because his wife was being diagnosed with cancer, stage 4 cancer, and they're trying to move back to Ohio by February 9th. That was their only reason for wanting to sell.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, Tina, since you've been in this business, what has been like the biggest challenge for you?
I don't. It's like when you start anything. For me, anytime I'm trying to move ahead, things start happening in my personal life. I've had challenges in my personal life that has, blocked me or held me back from getting to that next step. But as far as the business itself, there's nothing really holding me back. There's nothing really that's all that challenging, right? It's fun to me. It's all so much fun to me because it's something I'm really interested in, and I love it. I love it. I love all of it. I love going to look at the houses. I love meeting the sellers and the buyers. I have no problem making the phone calls, following up, sending the messages. Like, all that is easy breezy to me. And maybe because of my previous, like, my past life, I was an accountant sitting in a cubicle. You know, I will never go back to sitting in a cubicle. So having the freedom to be, I don't have no challenges. Just like other than, personal life happening, and that ain't gonna stop. So
Right.
yeah, yeah.
And to tell you the truth, we haven't had any major challenges, and we just like you, we very compassionate about this business. I mean,
That's it.
and kid you not, Tina, when we first entered the business, I used to tear up about it. I used to get so excited, helping people and
Hmm.
going out and,
Hmm.
we are very compassionate about this bit. I think once you get like a deal or two under your belt, you'd be like, wow, I really like this. And I
To
and I
think,
tell anybody
it's
I would
like,
have never gone to nursing school if I would have found out about this years ago. Never.
come on now, like, come on, like I said, I've been wanting to do real estate. I've been wanting to play Monopoly since I was a child. Like, I mean, in real life, it's always wanted to do it. But life takes you on different journeys and, takes you through different things. I don't regret anything that I've been through because it's helped me to get to where I am now. And so all I can do is take all the things that I've learned over the years. And the beautiful thing about real estate is you can take everything that you are and apply it and make it work in the game of real estate, you know. And I am just thoroughly, thoroughly enjoying my journey. Let me tell you,
Good for
like
you.
complete hashtag fun.
Good for you. And so I'm just gonna throw this question out there because a lot of people say, well, they ask me and my brother why we don't invest, on land, you know. And
Mhm.
I know investors who have purchased land, and that's all you have is a land, no mobile home. You got dirt, debt, and taxes. So why would I want to do that first when I could invest inside a mobile home park, get that money from the renters, and then when I find land, then when my lease agreement is up with the park, I can move that mobile home over there. I'm not just gonna buy land and have my chest all stuck out like I done did something because really
Right.
you haven't.
Haven't. That's the same way I feel about people who go and start LLCs and don't have a business.
Good point.
You
Good
just
point.
you just put an extra expense on yourself for what? What do you plan on doing with this? But yeah, exact same. Like I had a guy reach out to me from New York, somewhere he was up north, and again he had this land. He's like, I'm buying this land. It's $25,000. I just need to find a house to put on it. So I go through all this trouble to find him a house, not realizing the land is not ready to receive a mobile home.
Mm.
You got to put at least $10,000 to $15,000 into that land that you just spent $25,000 on to get electrical and plumbing and well or septic tank something. Like it's not ready to receive a mobile home. So if you do want to find, there's plenty of homes on land that are available, and I don't care where you are, you will find mobile homes that are on land that, like the one that's in your picture behind you, they look just like that. They need to be renovated, rehab, and resold or rented out because it's on private land. And the only thing about the private land is that you have typically no restrictions as to what you can do with it.
Right.
Meaning you can hold it as long as you want. You can do Airbnb if you want. You can do long-term rentals. You can do short-term rentals. You can do whatever you want. Um, that's the best thing about getting a home on land. So the same strategies that you're using to find homes in communities, find those homes on private land. They're out there, and those sellers need help more than the ones that are in the communities.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So Tina, when you do get to the point where you're buying and holding and you're seller financing, we already talked about the seller financing, but when you're renting your properties out, do you think you'll still use the website that you had mentioned, the call the underwriter?
On the underwriting. For renting them out, there's a couple different softwares or databases, CRMs, whatever you want to call them, that I've been exposed to and heard about. As I get closer to that point, I guess I'll drill down and decide which one I want to use. I haven't made that decision yet. Of course, apartments.com is the most popular one because it's easy. It's apartments.com. It's apartments.com. So they have, leases and all this stuff. You can get everything done on there. But there's other, softwares that like I said, I have notes in my phone of, which ones to research and look into, but I haven't drilled down to figure out which one yet.
Right. Because that website you mentioned, they're going to be taking a percentage of your money, even though it will probably be worth it. but they're gonna be taking a percentage of your money, correct?
To do the initial underwriting, yes. Because
Mhm.
even though my deal did not go through, I paid them, I think it was $200 just to go through the process, to get all the information, analyze the information, run the credit checks, analyze these people's credit, all this stuff. So I still paid a fee for that. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. And then you mentioned, several ways that you advertise. What are your thoughts about bandit signs, or have you ever done any bandit signs?
I haven't done bandit signs just because from my area, I don't need to do bandit signs. Like I'm in an area where it's houses and opportunities everywhere, everywhere. Now, for people that are in areas where it's not as saturated with mobile homes, then yeah, use bandit signs, definitely. Eventually, I will get bandit signs, and I have specific areas which are the more rural areas, like that are hour and a half, 2 hours away from my house. I'll eventually get bandit signs and put them out there. But I'm not to that point yet because I don't have to go out that far.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
it's so much opportunity right here by
feel
me.
the same way. Me and my brother, not this past December, but December before last, we actually
Mhm.
had tried dried up, and we ordered some bandit signs. By the time we put 10 of them out, everybody, all the park managers start contacting us. So, and I tell everybody, if you befriend a park manager, that's where you're going to get your sweetest deals, in my opinion.
That's it.
That's where you. I
That's
mean,
it.
once in a blue moon, a seller going to give you a sweet deal, but the park manager knows everything about that park.
Hmm. And they know other parts. They're in the business.
Thank you.
They got people calling it. That's the thing that I learned for that. Like I said, the 2.5 months or whatever that I was community manager. Oh my God. The contacts that I have in my phone. I'm talking buyers, sellers, everything. Like it's people calling that community every day asking something about mobile homes, mobile home communities, something. There's something. So yeah, community managers are very, very, very good sources.
Mhm.
And having,
Mhm.
excuse me for saying it, but having the balls to go and walk into the community office. Go. Just go. You never know what you can find.
That's so true. That's so true. But so, Tina, you mentioned that, out there in Florida, y'all don't have a lot of mobile home parks that allow renting. Is that what you said earlier?
Yeah. At
Yeah.
least I haven't ran across a lot of them. The
Mhm.
ones that I'll put it this way. In a year of me doing mobile home sales, I have yet to run across even one community that will allow you to rent homes out.
Wow. Because I tell you, Tina, this is going to blow your mind. What's happening out here in Texas is that okay, the park has rented out mobile homes that they own. They're kicking the tenants out. If they don't sell the mobile home to somebody else, like me and my brother, what they do,
Mhm.
let that same tenant come back and move into that mobile home as a renter 4 months later, and then kick them out another 4 months. Because
They're
they're,
not making them buy it.
well, no, I mean, if they can't afford to buy it, they can barely afford to rent it. And I know of several parks that are doing that. And one park in particular, they have kicked out 60% of their tenants. 60. And then I said to myself, why would somebody come? They kicked you out already, and then you come back and move right back into the same house 4 months later. But
Are they renovating the homes?
they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything to the homes. Nothing. Yeah. But these
So is
people,
it new ownership coming in?
yeah, they want to sell the homes to me and my brother, whoever the investors are. They want to sell the homes to us, and then we become the landlords. They're tired of being the landlords, and that's happening big time out here in Texas, big time.
Yeah, and so what they're doing here in Florida, like the community I was at, they're buying the communities that were rentals, were like park owned rentals, and they're forcing the tenants to purchase the homes from them. And so, like the company that I was just working for, they were giving basically selling the homes to the tenants on payments in order to convert them from renters to owner occupied homes.
Mm.
Same home, no renovations, no nothing. They just sold it to them for little to nothing, and little to nothing meaning $5, $6, $7,000. on payments. And so now they're paying their lot rent plus like a mortgage on that home. Yeah.
So they're doing it a slick kind of way. So the tenant be able to stay in there.
Right. And they don't miss no money.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting.
So Tina, it's obvious that you never had any kind of analysis paralysis like a lot of students have, a lot of new people in this business. You just, you took a course. How soon after you took a course did you jump right in and start doing stuff?
I took the course after I started.
Mm-hmm.
I had already, all it took, I just needed some kind of direction of what do you do? What do you do? And once I learned, you start going to the communities, drive around to the communities. That's where it starts.
Mm-hmm.
Find communities in your area. And once I started doing that, it's just been going ever since. Been going ever since.
And I tell my students too, Tina, the early bird catches the worm. They'll be sitting there and calling the park manager on the phone. Y'all get 50 million phone calls.
Yeah.
I think it would take me more serious if I was sitting in front of your face versus calling you on the phone. Do you have any mobile homes, for sale? You have any special?
Let me tell you, in regards to that, one of the things that I did in order to get, because that whole paralysis analysis thing, and some of the people that have reached out to me over the last year is like, okay, Tina, how are you doing this? How are you not scared to go out here? So what I do, still do to this day, I'll go on Facebook and I literally search for people who don't know how to market their homes. That's all we're doing. We're providing a marketing and advertising service. That's what we're doing. So I go on Facebook and I look for people who houses they only got one picture posted, but they want like $50,000 for the house, or they got like 10 pictures posted, but it's like of this wall and that wall and they blurry and there's no outside pictures. These are the people, they're literally screaming, help me, please. I don't know how to sell my house. And these are the people that you want to target. These are not necessarily stress sellers. They're just people that don't know how to sell a mobile home. And so I'll reach out to those people on Facebook. Hey, I may have a buyer interested in purchasing your home. What's a good day for me to come by and take pictures and videos? That's it.
Wow.
I will send that message out to 20, 30 people.
Wow.
Whoever responds, that's who I schedule appointments with. Add them to my calendar. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, when I was really in the heat of it, let me see if I can show you a picture of what my calendar was like at that time. It was pretty. Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
See all them blue?
You a little busy. You a little busy.
A little bit.
Wow.
Little bit. But I was to the point where I had a goal to have at least 5 to 10 appointments a week, to where I'm going and I'm meeting with a potential seller who can be a potential client. Or either I would have, because I'm posting so much, I have buyers reaching out to me. Hey, I see you have this home listed, but I'm looking for a blah, 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 blah in this area. Do you have any out there? No, I don't have any out there right now, but let me get your name, phone number, and your email address, and I will start searching for you. Because a cash buyer is more valuable than a seller. If you have a buyer reach out to you and it's like, hey, I got $35,000, I just can't find a house. No problem. Let me go house shopping for you. I got you. Because I know how to shop for a house. That was one of my deals, 2 of my deals that I closed last year, where it was a buyer that reached out to me and I literally went out house shopping for them. And I would send them 4, 5, 6 different houses to select from. They choose which ones they want to see. I schedule the appointments. I spend a whole day with them. We go look at houses. They decide which ones they want to apply for. We put the application in. I get my money. 2 different deals. I made $5,000 on each one.
Wow. And so Tina, so when you have a buyer that has the cash, do you ask them for proof of funds or anything like that?
I was doing that at first. Now I have enough pre-qualification screening questions to know whether or not they're serious or not.
Mhm.
I don't really like, I know how to ask the questions that need to be asked to find out whether or not they're full of shit.
So do you ask for any earnest money up front? Because
I do not ask for money up front at all. Why? Because I've had to refund money too much.
okay.
And so basically, all I get them to do, fill out the application. If you do the park application and you pay that park application fee, then I know you're serious because you've taken the time to pull all your pay stubs, your social security card, your driver's license. You've given me all this information. So I know you're serious and
Mhm.
you want this house if you go through all of that.
Mhm.
So, because I had a lady a couple weeks ago, well, do we need to put money down? I can give you money down. No, I don't need you to give money down. I need you to do the application. When are you going to do the application? She still has not done the application. You're not serious. I don't care how much money you got.
Right, right. So Tina, so when you're wholesaling, you find a seller and they're talking to you, y'all do the walkthrough of the home and all this good stuff, you establish a price. At what point, or do you ever go talk to the park manager?
I usually try to reach out to the park manager before I meet with the seller, and I will literally go in there and let them know, hey, I'm going to meet with these people at whatever lot number. Can I have the application? What is your application process? What is your application fee? What is your lot rent? What's included in your lot rent? I get all the information. I like to get all the information before I meet with the seller because it gives me more credibility when I'm meeting with the seller to let them know, hey, I'm serious about trying to find a buyer for your home.
Mhm, mhm. And what is the park manager's response? Are they like, well, oh, who is Tina? Do they like, who are you, lady? You know what I'm saying? You come in the office and you're
I
talking
tell
about
them,
helping
they
them.
don't have to ask me. They don't have to ask me. They know because I
Okay.
come in,
I tell people that all the time. They
hi,
can figure it
yeah,
out.
yeah, hi, I'm Tina Richardson. I am a mobile home sales agent,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, they figure it out.
and I'm helping Mr. and Mrs. Yeah, I'm helping Mr. and Mrs. Lot number 103 find a qualified buyer for their home because they're looking to relocate or blah 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 blah. Is it possible for you to give me the application process, the application fee? And it's like it's having the confidence and knowing what you're talking about. Like my phone is my everything. I have notes in here. So before I go, I know what I'm getting ready to ask. It's about being prepared and knowing what you're doing. Having the confidence. Did it start out that way? No. It's
Right.
gonna fall on your face a couple times.
Exactly.
So what?
Yeah, my first time, Tina, the thing that made me get more confidence is because these people were so much younger than me. You know, I'm like, okay, you guys are young enough to be my kids. I'm not gonna have a difficult time talking to you guys. And it started off like that. Yeah, we done lost Tina. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be the end of our interview. Look like we having some technical difficulties with Tina.